Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the tubal Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Kenyan women are saying no to motherhood, no to childbearing, and yes to sterilization, a procedure called tubal ligation that prevents pregnancy through the tying or the blocking of the fallopian tube, popularly known as tube tying.
I don't have any specific moment in time where light bulb was like, oh, I don't want children. No, it just never was the norm for me. Again, I didn't have that pressure from family. It wasn't drilled into my head that I needed to have a child or be a mom or...
This has been something that's considered taboo. We don't talk about it. Like, I didn't know what being child-free meant, if that was even a thing. I just knew there were no children in my future. We live in a society where, especially as women, there's a certain line we have to toe where we are not allowed to think a certain way or feel a certain way, because then it goes against what society expects of us. Because how...
Yes. So these guys, for one reason or the other, want to be free. They want their freedom. They don't want to have to do anything with children. And then they opted for tubal ligation. Now, tubal ligation is for women who have, given birth, or aged women who don't want to give birth anymore. It's like a birth control where you don't bother about birthing a child anymore.
Very painful periods, right? So apparently my mom told my sister that I should consider maybe getting my uterus removed, because either way, I don't want children. So my family has been very gracious. I've received a couple of questions of why would you do it? It's so extreme. Why don't you just get long-term contraception?
I was lucky enough to not pay a single cent for my procedure. So there was an initiative that was happening between a healthcare provider based in Kenya and the government. They're like, this procedure is a permanent procedure. And the doctor walked me through what the procedure was going to be. He said, this is what you're going to feel. The process is, it's an actual surgery. So we are going to cut you open. You'll be awake and you'll feel this. And we'll pull your tube, we'll cut it, we'll tie it.
More than anything, I felt liberated. It was very freeing, because then it's something that I had ticked off my list, and it felt like now my life is my own. I don't have to worry about any other thing. Mentally, it did not take a toll on me. I did have quite a difficult healing process, and that's when I started asking for help. I reached out to my family and to my friends.
But the Kenyan Health Hospital said those who have undergone this operation from 2020 to 2023 are over 16,000, and it includes young women, especially young women. The entire procedure, the operation, is said to cost 30,000 Kenya shillings, which equals €190 and $230. The thing is, what would make young girls, young women not want to, birth children? And due to what they said, let's just summarize this. The environment affects a child. How you raise a child affects the child. Now, making a child feel, or a young teenager or someone who is not old enough to birth a child feel, you're going to give birth to a child one day. I've not figured out my life yet. You're telling me I'm going to give birth to a child. Are you trying to tell me that the whole process of me being alive or from me going to school is to birth a child one day and forget about myself? These things affect children a lot, especially young girls of this age, of this era. Now, it's known in Nigeria, at a very young age, if the child is 10 years, 13, you tell the child, you're going to marry one day or you give birth. So this conditions their mind. Some will actually just want to say, I don't want to give birth anymore. I don't care about giving birth. Some are so dogged with their reason that you think they made it since they were in the womb. But due to societal conditioning, they've made their decisions. So I would say, on one hand, we as parents, or our parents, are at fault for conditioning the mind of these children, of the young ones, to think or to feel that birthing child is the utmost goal in life. And then on the other hand, some just want to be free. They don't want to have to go through the pain of childbearing because social media has made it whole lot easier to see women during childbirth and all the pain, the scream, the shout, and everything. And some do not just want to go through the pain and they opt for the easier way out. Tube tying. They tie their fallopian tube so they are unable to birth a child. And according to research, it doesn't stop you from going through your cycle as normal as a woman. It doesn't stop you from anything, just that you wouldn't be able to birth a child. So on the long run, what we do in our society affects the health. It affects the mental health of young girls. It affects the mental health. So be careful what you say to children, what you say, especially these our generation. If 16,000 women from 2020 to 2023 have opted to tie their womb, you can imagine what is going on. But what do you think about this story? I would love to hear your thoughts about this story. Comment below and do not forget to share, subscribe, and turn on your notification button.